Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am the Night Walker, and since I just recently did the video where I reviewed the 1949 Disney cartoon version of, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Bing Crosby, I thought it'd only be fitting if we take a look at the 1999 movie Sleepy Hollow, directed by Tim Burton. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you I do enjoy this movie. This movie is a real favorite of mine. I wasn't sure how I was going to like this movie, to be truthfully honest with you. Way back when I was getting ready to see it, and I heard rumblings about this movie, before it came out. Of course, they were talking about Fangoria and stuff, and people were saying, this is easily going to be like one of Tim Burton's best movies, if not his best movie, and it definitely is one of his best films, I feel. And, they're saying like this movie, it's like, oh my God, you could tell this is, yeah, there's humor in this movie, but this is a straight up horror film. And, Tim Burton, he's really paying homage. Like, like one person explained it to me, like, how, like, okay, remember when Hammer movies did their version of like the classic, monster movies? They did like Dracula, Wolfman, Mummy, Frankenstein, all that stuff. I was like, this movie is almost as if they did like a Hammer version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, this is what it would be. And I agree with that to some extent because the movie very much it does have like a Hammer horror film feel to it, especially kind of like in some of the later years as it makes me think of movies like Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, things like that. But also too just also too yeah, it's definitely Tim Burton was very vocal about saying he was very much inspired by the films of Mario Bava, movies like Black Sunday and Black Sabbath, things like that. So that very much paid tribute to him on this movie, and so yeah, I could definitely see that as well. But you know, the, this movie, it's it really is good. And what I like about this movie is it's different enough. The storyline is different enough that this can be its own thing, but while paying tribute to the original cartoon. And that's one of the things, though, too. I think that kind of, if you're a fan of the original cartoon, you can actually enjoy this movie too, because there are segments in this movie where Tim Burton very much pays homage to the cartoon, pays tribute to it, and shows loving respect to the film. And it shows. It shows in this movie. There's the scene where Johnny Depp is Ichabod Crane. He's out riding his horse, and you can hear almost like the soundtrack from the cartoon. You're like the frogs croaking. And it sounds like it's saying his name, Ichabod, Ichabod. And then I'm gonna give away a spoiler here, but yeah, so he started being chased. There's it looks like that this horseman got riding the stallion with the flaming pumpkin. He crosses the bridge, throws a pumpkin at him, he hits him in the head, and he falls down. But then we find out later that it's actually his Brom Bones with his friends pulling a joke on Ichabod Crane. So, but yeah, the story is different in the sense that okay, if you go watch the original 1949 cartoon, like I said in that review, the story is about Ichabod Crane, who's a school teacher. He comes into the town of Sleepy Hollow, and he's like trying to outwit everybody, outsmart everybody, and he runs foul of the headless horseman. This here we start off with Martin Landau of all people. He's going on an important I want to say journey, but like an important trip, and him and his coach driver, they get attacked by the headless horseman, and then we go to London where we find Constable Ichabod Crane, played by Johnny Depp, who supposedly it was reported that Johnny Depp was such a fan of the cartoon that he really wanted to go all out. That and Tim Burton had to rein him in apparently. Like supposedly, like Johnny Depp really wanted the big nose like Ichabod had in the cartoon. He wanted the big feet and all that stuff. He really wanted to go at it. And Tim Burton's like, no, just play it looking like yourself and everything else. Because as we all know, Johnny Depp always he loves makeup and he loves to dress himself up whenever he's playing a character. He wanted to do the same thing here, but in this version, he's Constable Crane. He's a detective from London, and so he gets sent to the town of Sleepy Hollow by Christopher Lee of all people. And even on the commentary here, it's like where you see Christopher Lee, you see these kind of like wings framed behind him. And Tim Burton said that was kind of almost like that was like paying tribute to Hammer and Christopher Lee as Dracula. and things like that, and that was kind of what led into him wanting to do this as almost like a Hammer film. And so, he goes to the town of Sleepy Hollow, and you have a great ensemble cast in this movie. You have really good talent. You got Michael Goff, who obviously from Hammer films and things. You got Michael Gambon from Harry Potter films. You got Miranda Richardson. You got, of course, Christina Ricci. I'm not going to forget her. So many of us, fell in love with Christina Ricci. We fell in love with her way before this, but this movie just kind of made us fall in love with her just a little bit more too. So, I was like, ooh, Christina Ricci is a blonde. Yeah, that works too. So, but anyway, so I don't really want to mention Jeffrey Jones because I feel bad. It's like on the one hand, it's like I grew up watching this guy in movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Transylvania 65000, movies like that, and really liking this guy, but then ultimately finding out he's kind of a pervert scumbag. Yeah, like I think they busted him. He had like a bunch of child porn on his computer and stuff like that. So anyway, so they busted. I hate to say that, but what was his name? Richard Griffiths, I think, who's also in the Harry Potter movies. So you got like a really good cast here, and you got Casper Van Dien and so many others. And so he goes there and he's there to inspect the murders and stuff like that. And you got some great special effects by Kevin Yeager. And as a matter of fact, Kevin Yeager, we all know he created the animatronic puppet for the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt series. We know him, he created Chucky for Child's Play. He did a lot of special effects for many other movies and stuff. But also, too, he also created the original story. It says here, screen story by Kevin Yeager. So, and the screenplay is by Andrew Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven, so, and 8mm. So, you got some good writing talent behind this movie. Produced by Francis Ford Coppola. So, yeah, you got some good name talent in front of and behind the camera on this movie. Of course, you got Danny Elfman doing the score. It's a Tim Burton movie, so you got to have Danny Elfman doing the score. But, yeah, I mean, if you're a Tim Burton fan, you're definitely going to latch onto this one. I certainly did. And he's trying to investigate the killings and unravel, but we find out that there's more to it. The Headless Horseman, played by Christopher Walken of all people. Well, let me back that up. Okay, when you see him in flashbacks and stuff, it's Christopher Walken is playing the Hessian. But when he's doing the fighting and stuff where the head is taken off, it's actually Ray Park, who everybody remembers as Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace. So, you see him. So it's like, they digitally, I think he had to wear like a green hood over his head and then they just digitally removed his head. But, he did all the fighting and stuff like that. But when he's got the head back, it's Christopher Walken. So like I said, name cast. And what I love about this, so like I said, you can watch this separately from the 1949 cartoon or read the original book. And they're both good in their own way. And that's what I appreciate about this. This movie's a murder mystery. It's a horror film. It's got some humor in it, some dark humor, a little bit light humor too. But you actually, kind of surprised you get a bit of gore. For a Tim Burton movie, you get a bit of gore in this. Yeah, like 1 minute Johnny Depp is like he's trying to do an autopsy on somebody, and Tim Burton said, I could never resist the urge to sit there and keep spraying him in the face with blood. So it's like it happened to him the entire movie. But yeah, I mean, this one here, it's one I always love to, and the movie is perfect for Halloween. It really works, because the movie takes place at Halloween time. You always see like jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, and when Johnny Depp first meets Christina Ricci's character, they're playing Halloween games, and who's got a kiss for the wickedy witch, and stuff, and then that's the thing that's great about this movie too, is like so many elements go into this, and you got like a detective story, you got like a ghost story, you got witchcraft, because she becomes, if you've seen the movie, you already know what I'm talking about. She becomes kind of a red herring, and Johnny Depp even begins to suspect her, even though he's falling in love with her. She's practicing witchcraft, and then we find out that Lisa Marie, who was Tim Burton's girlfriend at the time, she was his mother. She practiced witchcraft too, and his father, who was like a priest or a preacher, murdered her, sticking her in an Iron Maiden, which pretty cool but creepy scene. So yeah, I mean, this movie, just for me, this is a true one that I got to watch every Halloween. I love this movie, and I think it's just fantastic. And if you love Tim Burton films, and you love, if you want something good for Halloween, and if even if you are a fan of the cartoon, I even recommend just give it a look see. You know, Johnny Depp, he does have some funny moments in here. He really does try to play Ichabod Crane as, even though he's trying to be heroic and he's the lead man of the movie, there are moments where he really does, because, like I said, Johnny Depp supposedly really, really adores and loves the original 1949 cartoon. So there were moments that was one of the things he wanted to do. He wanted to play Ichabod Crane as a coward. And so there are moments in the movie where he does. He's like, ah, he's screaming like a girl or something. No offense against girls or anything like that, but he's just in there, eek, like he jumps at mice or spiders or something like that. Or they're like when he's going, when him and the young boy, that's helping him, like they go to see the evil witch in the woods and stuff like that. Crane is not afraid to sit there and just grab the boy and put him in front of him like a shield. So he plays him as a coward and stuff, which is funny. It's a very bold choice for an actor to do, but it doesn't make, it's funny. It doesn't make him unlikable. You still like him and stuff in the movie, and even though he is a coward, he does kind of man up in some spots. But this is a good film, and if you love Halloween as much as I do, like I said before, I adore Halloween. I love Halloween so much. I could celebrate it every day of my life. And, like, oh man, I just did a purge on my movie library here. I just got rid of a bunch of like romantic comedies and war movies and stuff like that to make room for more horror films. So, and more Halloween themed stuff and everything else. So, but anyway, that's just me. But yeah, let's see. I think I'll keep a little mystery in this one. But so yeah, I don't really want to sit here and go on too long about this, but sorry, my throat's kind of dry. But so yeah, I would definitely say if you love Halloween like I do, if you love the story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, this is just kind of another version of it, and this works too. And you can, so I was saying, you can watch this, you can watch the cartoon and enjoy both of them. And I think it's about time for me to go because I think all I'm doing is just repeating myself now. So anyway, so yeah, definitely Sleepy Hollow. Please, check it out. It's great. One of Tim Burton's best movies. I highly recommend it. I really want this movie to come out on 4K. I can't wait for this movie to get on 4K. I think this could definitely benefit from a 4K release. Anyway, that's enough. So if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. And I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like and subscribe. There'll be weekly videos posted. And, yeah, this is it. Take care. I'm the Night Walker, and, beware. You might see me out walking at night. Pray I don't come for you. Bye-bye.